Why is this getting made?
Yeah,
What's happening?
Welcome to the Idiots Odyssey, episode 10. I'm Eoin Murphy.
I'm Fergal O'Connor.
These are your headlines.
Jamie Foxx is preparing to get his teeth into the role of Mike Tyson with Martin Scorsese directing. Channing Tatum might be crossing streams with the Ghostbusters franchise. There's a bunch of new Star Wars details that landed this week. And David Hasselhoff is the latest irrelevant celebrity to sell his body Sharknado for cash.
And I give it a review of Chappie.
So first off, Martin Scorsese is going back to the boxing biopic. Now we won't be getting a Raging Bull sequel, but nonetheless, it's Martin Scorsese directing the life of Mike Tyson.
Could you arguably say that this is a sequel in thematically, like?
No idea. Just because I mean, like,
we don't know what angle he'll approach it from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's entirely possible that he'll homage Raging Bull. But then again, I mean, first off, just let me just knock out details of the story. Jamie Foxx admitted this week that it was Scorsese directing, and he's going to be he was in the room pitching this to Paramount with Mike Tyson on one side, so this thing's pretty much locked in. But that being said, I mean, Raging Bull was about a very violent boxer, and Tyson more so. But I feel like Tyson, he has a higher public profile, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, this is the highest public profile that there's been up to now for like any character that Scorsese's done.
I suppose you're right, yeah.
Yeah, because Tyson's a huge house.
In terms of like actual non-fictional characters, like.
Yeah. I mean, like after someone's been in a Scorsese film, I mean, the characters can take on a life of their own, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's what I mean with Travis Buckle, like.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson's been doing a lot of reputation rehab lately. But I mean, Scorsese doesn't seem like the sort of director who's going to.
He's not necessarily going to portray him in in a positive light necessarily.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just as the most true light you can get.
Yeah, I mean the Wolf of Wall Street. He destroyed that stockbroker. Apparently they're called now. He made him look like a sort of
complete douchebag, like
a drug addict, douchebag, yes, an asshole, a fucking wanker. These are all words
what's amazing,
for the same
What's amazing
thing,
is that I'm pretty sure he was actually on set as a kind of an advisor.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
So no, Martin, I did way more coke that night.
No, it was 2 piles high.
Yeah, no, you need to get some hookers over there and there. No, I mean this. He absolutely slated this dude, and Tyson seems to have led an equally.
Well, do you think it's the fact that he's done this, that he directed The Wolf of Wall Street, and the fact that he directed Raging Bull, that if you could combine them, would you not get out the Tyson story?
Yeah,
to an extent.
Yeah, in a way, Raging Bull was more domestic, and Tyson seems closer to the Jordan Rudess thing. All right, in that, I mean, Mike Tyson was very poor for a while, and he'd been very rich before that, but he spent all that money in like the most extravagant way possible.
So, are we saying that's why he appears in cameos in chronic films sometimes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why he appeared in The Hangover like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that actually was.
Well, I mean, The Hangover, or which Hangover? He was in both of them, actually, the first two. I mean, the second one was chronic, the first one was okay.
The first one is...
It's a perfectly reasonable film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're not judging The Hangover, we'll save that for another podcast. But, basically, the point that I was trying to make, which I will remember in a moment, is that Mike Tyson will do anything for money, including letting Scorsese rip his reputation apart, possibly.
Do you think he knows what he's getting into, like, in terms of, like, how Scorsese would portray him, or...
I mean, you've got to know. I mean,
Yeah,
Tyson's
you know who you gotta
been-
go. You gotta know who you're getting into bed with.
Yeah, like Tyson's been hanging around the Hollywood crowd for a while, so I'd assume he knows exactly what Scorsese does. Because Scorsese doesn't really direct nice characters.
Yeah.
Or at least his biggest films haven't been about that. I mean, he did do that kids film that I haven't seen, Hugo.
No, I haven't seen it either, so I can't.
Yeah, so it's entirely possible that Scorsese's gotten soft in his old age, even if he didn't show it in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. He can't. No matter how soft he's gotten, he ain't going to be able to portray Mike Tyson in anything other than the correct light.
Yeah, because how can I put this delicately? I mean, Mike Tyson has a history of being an ear-biting rapist, so this isn't going to be soft.
No, right.
Yeah.
I think. I think there would be too much of a disappointment if it wasn't anything but true to the colour. So,
yeah.
right?
So like, what's going to happen here basically is Scorsese is probably going to make a very Scorsese film, and Mike Tyson might feel some level of regret for selling off his life rights, or maybe Tyson feels that he's a different person now, and he's okay with a film being made about that guy that he was, who did all that bad shit.
Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough.
So you're planning on doing a remake of an 80s comedy. Who are you going to call?
Channing Tatum.
No, that might not be the answer you were expecting, unless you're one of the producers of 21 Jump Street. But that is the answer that Ghostbusters people are using to populate their new Ghostbusters film, which will be, to be very clear,
It's going to be the all-male equivalent of the all-female female Ghostbusters thing.
yeah. So I guess as Bridesmaids was to the Hangover, this all-male Ghostbusters will be to the all-female Ghostbusters.
Oh Christ!
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, we're entering some deeply unusual territory here, but
is this rumored or confirmed that he's going to be in it?
it's pretty much confirmed.
And what about the Chris Pratt? Because I think that was another one that he would be in it.
Chris Pratt, I think that was a rumor.
Okay, so
Yeah,
rumor.
okay. What we've got right now is that Chris Pratt is sniffing around the project. Apparently, the Russo brothers are in talks.
Yeah, that's good because they do some great work with Captain America: Winter Soldier, and of course they'd previously been directors for comedy shows for example, Community.
Yeah, exactly. So they've got a great history behind them with this sort of film. So I find this really weird that just a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the Ghostbusters. I don't even know what to call it anymore now. The Ghostbusters reboot was going to be all female, although maybe it's some sort of sequel. I don't know.
Yes.
But
it'll probably be in the modern day, so it could be either.
Let's just call it the bootquill or the requill or something. Whatever the hell
the new
it is,
one.
Yeah, the new one. It's they found a pretty solid cast of female comedians to star in their 4 lead roles, and now they feel the need to make an all-male one, which
I don't know. It does feel exactly like it's almost a backlash. As in, as like a response to the backlash for having his all-female one.
Yeah, I've actually got another theory on this.
What's that?
And it comes down to one word: Avengers. It's they're
going to team up to take down Loki.
Yeah, I think they're just after figuring out that 2 films puts more asses on seats than 1 film does.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're looking at dollar amount. It's the same reason the Hunger Games is splitting their last film into two separate films.
Now, I did kind of touch on it there, but do you think there would be overlap or what? As in, would there be crossovers?
No idea. I'd assume so. If it'll make money, they'll do it.
Yeah.
Crossover is most likely going to be determined by the balance line at the end of some accountant's budget sheet.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is your slightly cynical roundup of
I don't know. I think Channing Tatum was very good in 21 Jump Street and 22. I have yet to see. So I wouldn't hesitate in thinking in being optimistic about this film.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they picked a terrific team of female comedians. If Chris Pratt and Channing Tatum are coming in, you've got two solid comedians with a very strong comedic background coming in. So there's no reason to think that they're going to fuck up in the casting, at least.
But you just be cynical from that the studios would be trying to do this.
Yeah, I mean they're going to milk this until it runs dry.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, there's been a shit ton of news in the Star Wars universe. Starting it off, Rogue One, the first Star Wars standalone movie, will be released on the 16th of December 2016. This is the same one that's going to be directed by Gareth Edwards and will star Felicity Jones in yet untitled role.
Yeah, every time they release the tiniest bit of news on this, it just
we all have to go
news.
to it like crabs or something.
Yeah, they release all these Felicity Jones, awesome. Gareth Edwards, awesome. Coming out sooner than expected, awesome. Plus the name Rogue One, I like it.
There's still because its lack of meaning is.
Yeah, I mean
it's very easy to identify straight off.
Exactly, yeah, it's distinct. Plus, it would be basically unforgivable if they called a Star Wars prequel, Star Wars whatever the hell this is, sidequel, if they called it something generic or bad.
Yeah, but another thing is that this name, it's gotta rule it. For me, it distances the idea of it possibly being another Princess Leia story or something.
Well,
maybe not. I mean, we have no idea what story is. I mean, there are dozens of ways you could tie this to.
I think it'd be a bit of a waste, nearly, because there is a big universe for them to work with, a big galaxy.
Yeah, there is a big galaxy for them to work with, but the story that we've been invested in up to now is Luke and Leia.
Yeah, well, that's what the standalones are for, to expand your ideas.
What do you mean?
As in, expand how much you care about the world, and as in, they could still have something to do with the main plot, and it would almost be a waste of time if they didn't, some way, in some subtle way. But to just have it float around the same characters the whole time would be, it'd almost be like putting all your eggs in one basket to an extent.
Yeah, but it's okay, I think, to put all your eggs in one basket when Felicity Jones and Gareth Edwards are handling those eggs.
Okay, that's not really the point I was going at all.
Okay.
In that, right now you have the main characters or whatever. Let's say it is Princess Leia, right? And you just expand further on Princess Leia. That's all very well and good, but if you have a chance to introduce a new character and expand upon her, isn't that even better?
I'm less down with that. I mean, it would be fine, but the thing is, a new character for the sake of novelty doesn't excite me. I mean, in a way,
as in this character could still intersect with the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm thinking is that the idea of a new character doesn't really excite me. What excites me is the idea of a new type of story. If you know what I'm saying.
Exactly. And I think it has that potential.
Yeah, but I think you don't need a new character. I mean, Princess Leia is at an unusual point in her life, right?
Yeah.
In that they've defeated the evil empire, blah blah blah, and now they have a chance to show a different kind of story.
Yeah.
Where she has different kind of problems than would be typified, say, by your normal protagonist in the story, just because she's already taken that sort of hero's journey, and now she's got a different sort of hero's journey to go on, a new one, which sounds like a cool idea to me.
It does, but at the same time, I don't know. It's not enough, for me to want it to be Princess Leia.
Yeah, I can see that. I think if they introduce a new character in a way, that gives them an excuse to be lazy.
Yeah, damn it. Yeah, you're right, actually. And the other news is that while it's been rumored for a good while that Rian Johnson will spearhead Star Wars Episode 8, it's finally been confirmed, and it's also been confirmed that its release date will be the 26th of May, 2017. This is interesting as
Yep, all good news.
Rian Johnson. So he was very good in the direction of Looper, and he was very good in directing Breaking Bad, which is pretty much all I give a damn about. As long as he did that, I'll be fine.
Yeah. Plus, he directed a little kind of indie thing called Brick before that, which was it was kind of a neo noir set in a high school.
Okay.
Which it was a really cool sort of stylistic take on it. There were a lot of winking references and that sort of thing. He's very capable of doing homages without while still having the material not feel just like an excuse for a homage, while the film still felt like its own thing. Which, if you're directing, say, a Star Wars sequel,
I can see what you mean. Yeah. But now, while this came out in an official announcement, another little thing that was thrown up was a possible rumor who would be directing Episode 9. And now I would have thought that would have been Rian Johnson, as you know, depending. But apparently Disney really liked J.J. Abrams' Episode 7 so far, and so apparently he's rumored to be lined up to direct Episode 9.
This is J.J. Abrams. I don't think anyone's complaining, except for people that get headaches from watching lens flares.
Like, I assumed that he was just going to do Episode 7 and then step away as a producer, because that's what he was apparently going to be doing for Episode 8, and then he would stay away. And I don't know, this feels a bit weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it feels weird, certainly, but that...
I would have, I don't think there's going to be any decision made until they see how Rian Johnson does Episode 8.
Yeah, well, certainly they're not going into production for a while, so they do have a window there where they don't have to pull the trigger on this thing.
Exactly, yeah.
But that being said, if J.J. Abrams comes back, and I'm saying this having not seen Episode 7 at all, but just based on J.J. Abrams' body of work, should be a fantastic thing. I mean, he's one of the most capable directors out there doing this sort of big sci-fi epic and making it into a damn good film.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, you almost don't want it to feel too much like Star Trek.
Well, yeah, I think there's very little risk of that there.
Yeah, okay.
Just because Star Trek, it's a very militarized thing, and I think Star Wars, what differentiated in a way was,
you're almost on the other foot.
Yeah, it's more of a rebellious thing from the other side. I mean, admittedly, we have no idea the story's coming from that side.
We don't know how. Yeah, exactly. We don't know how it'll be after the fall of the Empire, or even if the Empire has fallen. We have no idea.
Yeah, but that being said, I think Star Wars does have enough to differentiate it that you can get away with that. Yeah.
And the final piece of Star Wars news that we got is that the composer for Rogue One will not be John Williams, but will in fact be Alexandre Desplat.
Yeah, the guy knows what he's doing. He's done The Imitation Game. Actually won an Oscar for that, didn't he?
No, he won an Oscar for
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Grand Budapest Hotel. And he had previously, of course, composed for The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The King's Speech, and Argo. So you know he's got a lot of weight behind him there in terms of work. Like he has worked with Wes Anderson a good few times. Like I think 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah, although that being said, I think Star Wars universe is probably going to call for a mite less whimsy.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, but I mean, top tier Hollywood composers are there for a reason. They're able to write and that's just because they're so diverse.
Exactly, yeah.
And I mean, they're able to write music to suit any occasion. I mean, especially Desplat, who sort of he's shown that sort of diversity while still giving a score its own sort of
its own uniqueness.
Yeah, like there's he has the ability to make it so every scene's gonna have its own emotional vibe, but you can listen to that and be like, oh, that's part of the score of Film X.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Film X isn't an actual film. I'm sorry.
And one last thing, of course, in terms of Star Wars, because of the release date for Star Wars episode 8, it's basically pushed the Fantastic Four sequel, if they still go ahead with that, by a week from the 2nd of June to the 9th of June 2017.
Yeah, which This is a scary film, basically Star Wars film.
Yeah,
I mean,
other films go running away from it. Is basically what's happening here.
What we got here
it needs cool down time.
Is the 800-pound gorilla of the box office.
Moving on from Star Wars to Star Trek, current Captain Kirk, Chris Pine, has been highly rumored as the next Green Lantern in the DC cinematic universe.
Yeah, which makes sense. I
mean, well, another Chris with another film franchise, as a superhero, whatever. I don't mind.
Yeah, plus he's kind of cut from the same cloth as Ryan Reynolds, really.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been confirmed whether or not he'll be playing the same actual character in terms of Hal Jordan, but we'll see. It's looking like it, I suppose, based on the casting, I suppose. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which it seems like an unusual move, given how badly that last Green Lantern film
Well,
sucked.
they were never going to bury this, they can't just bury it away. But the thing is,
they should bury it. They should bury it and then drive 200 miles away and go, wait, look, we're nowhere near that old Green Lantern film now.
But that's what they are doing, because with his casting being this late, he's probably not going to appear in Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice. Surely to God not. If that gets any more cameo cast, it's going to get ridiculous.
I think Zack Snyder is enough on his plate.
Yeah. Whether he'll appear in the Justice League Part 1, Part 2 is a completely different point. But this is, again, it's still a rumour. But what do you think of that? Of him as...
Like I said, it makes me nervous. That the fact that they're picking an actor who seems so much cut from the same cloth as Ryan Reynolds makes me think that maybe they're going to repeat some of the other mistakes as well, like making a shitty film.
I don't know, you gotta have a little more. Yeah, I can see your concern, actually.
Yeah, it's you'd think that they just want to say with this piece of casting, make a statement that they're going for a different approach. So unless they actually are going for a different approach.
So basically, you would kind of, would you have been more in favour if they used the Jon Stewart Green Lantern? That would have been the African American one that they usually used for in the animated series.
Actually, I think that's fantastic. Have they had an African American guy is headlining a superhero film yet, or an African American woman?
No, but there's a few coming up in terms of, there's the Black Panther for Marvel and someone else.
Well, hang on, they might have done it. Do you remember a film called Steel back in the 90s?
Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so okay.
Oh yeah, and Cyborg as well for the current DC universe. Even though that's, again, that'll probably be it won't be for another few years,
Yeah, but I think that'd be it'd be a way of showing that they're going in a different direction with the character, just by showing that they're going with a different Green Lantern, I guess.
Yeah, but again, there's no guarantee that it will be Hal Jordan. They could go for any of the numerous.
Yeah, a lot of people have worn the ring, right?
Yeah, I think there's been about 5 or 6.
Yeah, so you've got a wide selection there.
Yeah, but would you be yay or nay for him in general taking over?
Chris Pine.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from the mistakes of the past, I feel like he is a perfectly fine leading man, basically.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen him do blue collar in that admittedly poor Tony Scott film Unstoppable.
Yeah.
Plus he's played that he's able to play that kind of roguish, kind of man, desperado character in Star Trek.
Yeah, completely. I think he's got good timing and he's got good charisma, so I'd be yay for it. I think he's shown he can do this.
Yeah, he can do all of the leading man stuff. I think the interesting thing is more, can he do the quiet stuff?
Yeah, well, that's always a challenge, I suppose. Stephen Moffat has confirmed that the Sherlock standalone or one-off episode, which is more or less going to be a Christmas special because it's due to air in December, will actually be set in Victorian London. So it had fuck it. Moffat!
Yeah, I didn't know that Sherlock Holmes had this time travel subplot, but...
Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe Moffat's getting a bit confused between Sherlock and Doctor Who, but this is just... I mean, I'd be looking forward to this. It'd be interesting to see it, as always with Sherlock, but...
Well, I'm pretty certain what happened is like they probably bounce all these episode ideas off like a group of let's say focus groups. What probably happened is they did a focus group entirely of women one day, and they went into the room, and the guy just looked at them and went, Benedict Cumberbatch in a deerstalker hat. So after he went outside and he cleared off, he just went back to Moffat and just went sploosh.
Lovely. Okay, thank you for that visualization.
Yeah.
Well, Moffat has actually also said that this is very much a one-off, as in this is not going to have anything to do with the rest of the series. So there is that as well. This is not going to have any relation to season 4. Which should follow on soon afterwards. But again, this is Moffat and the BBC, and so there's actually no release date at all for any of this yet.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Well, that being said, like there are a bunch of ways you can do this.
Yeah, there's absolutely tons of ways. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see actually if they go for a framing device or if they just say fuck it and me.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering about as well.
Ago, yeah,
because they could do either of it because it's all irrelevant in the end. You know, as in it doesn't matter. Yeah, is basically what they're saying. It's a one-off story, is my point, you know?
Yeah. Okay, for this next story, you might want to cover your children's ears. It contains details that you just really don't want your children to hear. I mean, seriously. Okay, I'm giving you a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Disney is after confirming Frozen 2.
I guess you could say Disney are having trouble letting it go.
Point being, they're bringing back the director to the first film. They're bringing back the producer. And that's it. There is more Frozen coming. And I know it. You might want to invest in a pair of earmuffs or something. Okay.
Straight up earplugs.
Get a second DVD player for your house because you're not going to be seeing that thing for the next few years. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, maybe you can...
You don't sound like you're looking forward to this too much, Fergal.
Well, I'm more concerned for the parents in the audience. I mean, maybe they could send their kids off to boarding school or something because otherwise they're going to be hearing a lot of whatever the hell the next Let It Go is.
Yeah. In other news that is still to do with related to the children and all of us or whatever, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is to star and produce a new live action Fergal Rock film. And if you're not familiar with Fergal Rock, it's basically they're all related to the Muppet and Sesame Street family.
Yeah, Fergal Rock was like it was. The idea was sort of an international version of the Muppets
because it was an international version, more or less, of the Sesame Street.
Yeah,
and it was because the original one was a joint venture between the US, Britain, and Canada. Well, anyway, I can imagine this more or less going along the same route of the Muppets films a few years ago, or like lately, that have Jason Segel in them and all that.
Yeah, definitely. But if you're going to go that route, I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can just see that guy having the biggest grin on his face acting across from a Muppet. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he does have that sort of, I want to say almost childishness to him.
Yeah,
or like
he's kind of quirky charm, like.
Yeah, plus he's a little baby-faced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know how big a factor that is, but I suppose...
Yeah, but it does bring to mind that sort of childish wonder that is necessary to make people believe that you're happy interacting with these fucking puppets.
Yeah, as long as you don't call them fucking puppets.
Yeah.
They're Muppets, man.
And this just in, Hollywood is going to do a film adaptation of a comic book.
Shock, awe, horror, oh my god. Which one is it now?
Okay, this time it's one that I don't think many people are going to have heard of. I haven't heard of Crash Ryan. Have you heard of Crash Ryan?
No.
Well,
but whose bin bag is he being pulled out of?
He is being pulled out of. Yikes! In Marvel Comics, I think it's under a sub label as well, where which gave the owner a bunch more creative control over the comic.
Okay.
Which it's an unusual. It's set in an alternate 1935 in a world of super airplanes and giant flying airports. Crash Ryan is
airports are already flying. Okay, no, I'm getting into this.
Crash Ryan is a pilot caught up in the battle between the heroic United Airmen and the forces of evil, led by a masked world conqueror who calls himself the Doom.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
And
so
will this intersect with the usual Marvel TV and film stuff?
No idea. It sounds like it's its own separate thing.
Okay.
I mean, the Avengers already have their own helicarriers, so they're covered there. Plus, it's an alternate 1935.
I thought that was blown up or something. Oh, it's the fact that it's alternate. It means it ain't going to come across.
Yeah, I'd assume so. Another week and another batch of Denis Villeneuve news. This week he's been attached to this project Story of Your Life, starring Jeremy Renner and Amy Adams. I mean, we've talked enough about Villeneuve on the podcast that I think people know why I'm excited about him. But I mean, he's showing up with some top quality talent here. Plus, the script, it's kind of it sounds like a sci-fi concept. Well, I mean, there's no way this could be anything other than a sci-fi concept. Really, it's
good to see him warm up himself before Blade Runner 2.
Yeah,
hardcore action science fiction.
Yeah, this is Denis Villeneuve doing cinematic push-ups, basically. It's like it centers on aliens landing on Earth. The military then recruits Amy Adams, linguistics expert, to determine whether they come in peace or ever threat. Jeremy Renner will portray a physics professor brought on to help communicate with the aliens.
Okay, so the whole plot of the film is to try and see what they're actually saying.
I think so, yeah. Which sounds like a more interesting sci-fi film than, let's say, the Roland Emmerich approach.
Actually, while you mention that does actually sound remarkably like plot factors and details and ideas from Stargate.
Yeah, but are we talking about the TV series here?
TV series and some of the film and some of the original film, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
although not Independence Day, although to be fair, you could say that about Independence Day to an extent as well.
Yeah, because I feel like
because you have to remember the code that Jeff Goldblum's character finds.
Yeah,
the countdown.
But I mean, the thing was, I feel like you can almost tell what kind of sci-fi film a film's going to be in a way by whether it focuses.
Well, you think this is going to be more thinking?
Yeah, just because like the indicator, I think, is whether does the film focus on soldiers or does it focus on scientists. Here it sounds like they're focusing on scientists, which might make it a better sci-fi film. I feel like as a whole it could be taken as sort of an indicator, not necessarily a predetermining thing, but it gives you a clue what way the sci-fi film's going to go.
Okay, I can definitely see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is all good stuff. Basically, a bunch of talent going after an interesting concept. I'm excited to see another Denis Villeneuve film. Hopefully, it won't affect Blade Runner 2, and that's everything I'd say on it.
Yeah. Okay. You may remember in previous episodes of the podcast how we've given out about pointless remakes. Well, here's another pointless remake for you. Tim Burton will be directing the live action version of Dumbo. What the hell's the point of that?
Blah. I mean, Tim Burton, man.
Yeah, I mean, his stuff is whimsical and creepy at the same time.
Yeah, and it was charming in, let's say, around Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, and then now it's just
gotten insufferably boring.
Yeah, as in, like, did you even see that last Johnny Depp Tim Burton one? Or was it Dark Shadows or something? Or was there another one after that? I don't know, man. It's hard. I'm losing track of them.
I know, it feels like someone needs to like split Johnny Depp and Tim Burton up.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a divorce or separation that we could all get behind.
Yeah, I mean, like those two, they get together. Next thing you know, it makes Wes Anderson look like he's making fucking documentaries.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that it's not going to be an actual baby elephant that they're going to use. It's going to be something along the lines of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you know?
Well, I should hope not. Otherwise, they're gonna have to do some weird shit to his ears.
So Roger Rabbit, you're thinking?
Yeah, except with like really good CGI. We're talking
yeah.
like Planet of the Apes or whatever the new Planet of the Apes film was called. Level CGI. Those gorillas looked fantastic.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. That being said,
I'm not overly happy with this, to be honest, because I don't think there was a need to make a remake of Dumbo.
I really don't want to use the word inbuilt audience again.
Yeah,
or name recognition, but it's the only explanation for this. I
mean,
mean,
you would have thought Disney and Tim Burton alone would have been enough for name recognition, you know?
Yeah, but then they'd have to make like an actual original film, and who wants to do that bullshit? And now for the bit of the podcast where listeners get to feel like they're better than me, apart from all the other pieces of the podcast. But first off, confession time. I've never read Little Women.
No, neither have I.
The classic kind of coming of age tale set in the Civil War post-Civil War era, about four sisters coming of age.
The only thing I know about Little Women outside of what you literally just read is that Rachel liked it in Friends. That's it, and Joey ended up reading it and liked it. That's all I know.
Yeah, that about sums up the cultural, let's say, reach, or just our grasp of culture.
Yeah.
We know about Little Women because it was mentioned in fucking Friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, now apparently either someone at Sony has read the novel or they've been watching Friends, because they're setting up a Little Women reboot with Amy Pascal. Not Amy Pascal won't be starring in it, she will be producing.
Okay, right. So when you fire a person, you're giving them the same job in the company, is it?
Yeah, this usually isn't how firing someone works.
Yeah, okay.
It's for those not familiar, Amy Pascal was Sony's chief until some of the emails she'd been sending got out into hacks.
Yeah.
And she was forced to step down. It doesn't look like she's doing too badly off of it. Yeah, I mean, she signed
was
the
this
first...
a case if she was already attached to it so much, or she had did she already have some rights to it herself, like?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like Sony wanted to keep her on board. She signed the first look deal with them before she left.
All right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems like they had to punish her publicly somehow. I think they couldn't have her on top anymore.
Yeah.
But she still has a hell of a lot of things that are valuable to them.
Yeah, so she's no longer at the head, but she is around the belt.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say they just told her we can't have you at the top anymore after all those things you said got out. I mean, holy shit! But
they will still work with her. Like.
Yeah, it's like if they fired Amy Pascal, someone else would use her to make money.
Right.
I mean, all these adaptations of Pride and Prejudice, and all of it, any of those films. I mean. They pull in the audiences basically. They do very well. I mean, they just I don't know. There's this audience that seems to show up specifically for those films.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Actually, yeah.
I mean, their box office is kind of out of proportion to the budget and what you think they'd make, really.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Smith has announced that Clerks 3 will begin filming in May. This is kind of him continuing to go back to work that he's done previously, because this obviously, if it's Clerks 3, it means that it's coming after Clerks 1 and 2, which of course had a decade between them, and a decade on from Clerks 2. Here's Clerks 3. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Kevin Smith's career trajectory, it's been a less severe dive, much less severe actually.
Yeah.
But I feel like critically and even a little bit commercially, he's followed a similar career trajectory to M. Night Shyamalan.
Alright, yeah, but I suppose not to the same degree, you're right, yeah. In that he did start off as very, like, promising and stuff.
Yeah, he was a critical darling at one point.
Yeah.
And now he just sort of, his films just kind of, they fall out. They just fall out into the public eye, and no one particularly reacts.
Yeah, I suppose because they were originally, I suppose, really big indie hits, and now they're like bigger than indie. They're too big to be considered just small indie hits, as in expectations are too high for that. But yet they're not big enough to be blockbuster.
Yeah,
they feel to fall into this weird middle ground.
As beyond that as well, where the quality has been quite patchy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's not the expectations. I think are people actively expecting Kevin Smith film to be sort of meh right now.
That's disappointing, I suppose.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but hopefully he can turn it around.
Well, if he doesn't turn around for that, hopefully he'll be able to turn around for Mallrats 2, which apparently has half a script written, because this was also announced. So, yeah, basically I'd have pretty much the same reaction there, except that this is going back about 20 years rather than 10 years.
Yeah, Kevin Smith's just stepping into the time machine and hoping he can fix the future.
Yeah, of his pocket, is it?
Essentially, yeah. Plus he's just looking for some RESPCT, I'd say.
Yeah, true. David Hasselhoff has been eaten by sharks. These are words you could very well hear in the next Sharknado film, Sharknado 3, because David Hasselhoff will be starring in it, along with a bunch of other rejected celebrities, I guess.
Hey, did you by any chance find out the title of the Sharknado film?
Sharknado 3? Oh hell no. That's actually the title. Oh hell, Sharknado 3, oh hell no, is actually the title.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. I suppose it goes with kind of the self-aware parody territory that they're trying to tread with Sharknado.
Now it'll be released on the Sci-Fi channel or Sci-Fi channel on the 22nd of July this year.
Yeah, so for all you Sharknado buffs out there, your new favorite film has a release date.
So the Hoff is going to be joining this cast, which is made up of the complete elites in Tara Reid.
Yeah,
and of course, like, he pretty much disappeared off the scene after a botched Boobjobs after the American Pie stuff.
Yeah, her career really went over the falls.
Yeah.
Why is this getting made? What's happening?
To be fair, it's good. It's just dumb action film, and there's nothing wrong with a dumb action film, as long as it doesn't interfere with other stuff. And to be honest, I wouldn't expect it too much off the Sci-Fi channel. You know?
Yeah, which it's a totally fair viewpoint, but still, like, I look at this, and for a moment, it's like I've seen something disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I just smelled something.
As long as it doesn't interfere with other films,
yeah, it's okay. I mean, as long as it's not stopping Tara Reid and David Hasselhoff from starring in any future classics, I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
So we've got a warrior princess incoming for any Evil Dead fans, as Lucy Lawless is going to be reuniting with Bruce Campbell on stars Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
That's Lucy Lawless, formerly of Xena, warrior princess. But also, what's notable is that Lucy Lawless has already worked with stars with Spartacus.
Yeah, so I mean, she's got a heavy pedigree with everyone.
She knows what she's dealing with.
The 3 Evil Dead films, if you include Army of Darkness, of course you include Army of Darkness. No, it's just because it's definitely an Evil Dead film, but
it just wasn't given the title.
Yeah, exactly. It's an Evil Dead film. I don't think there's ever been a comedy horror film like them.
Not sensitive, right?
Yeah, I mean, the closest thing was Drag Me to Hell,
which is also Sam Raimi.
Exactly, yeah.
Really.
So it's like these it's nice to see Sam Raimi like taking time off from the superhero films and all that to go back into these sort of films. Because
well, that is what he's gone back to since Spider-Man. He's just been doing that stuff, isn't it?
I've seen Drag Me to Hell. I'm not sure what else he's done in this vein.
Well, he hasn't been doing superhero stuff though.
Yeah, but it's nice to see him come back to the genre just because he's the best at it. He might be the only person doing it at this level, and just as a fan of what he was doing with those films and what he did with Drag Me to Hell, it's nice to know there's going to be more material like that coming down the pipeline.
Yeah.
Plus, Lucy Lawless, the character, is a mysterious figure who is myopic in her quest to hunt down the source of the recent evil outbreaks. The only problem is she believes that Bruce Campbell is the cause of it all. So, basically, she's playing some sort of...
she's hunting
him down. Lucy Lawless, I mean, she's awesome at playing that sort of focus sort of... I'm not going to say mercenary. Sorry, an assassin doesn't quite cover it. She's just focused on hunting this guy down and killing him, yeah. I mean, she's great at portraying that kind of warrior-like focus. And let's see what other details... Oh, so we've got more details on the plot. Ash, the stock boy, aging Lothario in Chainsaw Hand and Monster Hunt, the classic character played by Campbell in the first 3 Evil Dead films, has spent the last 30 years avoiding responsibility, maturity, and the terrors of the Evil Dead, as you'd expect Ash to do. When a deadite plague threatens to destroy all of mankind, Ash is finally forced to face his demons, personal and literal. Destiny, it turns out, has no plans to release the unlikely hero from its evil grip.
It's definitely a continuation of the original.
Yep.
Okay.
Plus, I mean, just spending the 30 intervening years slacking off is the most Ash thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sums up who he was as kind of a hero. He was always the guy who was... he never wanted to be there, yeah. He was always trapped in by time travel or magic or something.
Okay. And speaking of horror and zombies and all that, The Walking Dead, which of course takes a lot more, a much more dramatic kind of approach to it. It's a companion series or a spin-off or whatever the hell you want to call it at this stage, which is still being called the codename Cobalt, which has already been given its second season before its first one is even out released or has even been given a proper name. Of course, it actually is scheduled, I think, to be released in around winter 2015. So this coming winter. So that's, I mean, this isn't surprising because, like I've kind of said, The Walking Dead is like an unstoppable train of cash for AMC.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they have a lot of confidence in this thing, given the kind of audience that The Walking Dead has.
The Walking Dead is probably one of the biggest earners ever, like, you know.
Yeah, plus I suspect that, like, with all these crossover series that have been going on lately, they've been seeing a lot of success. They're just thinking that they could transfer a lot of their Walking Dead audience into this.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely what they're going to try and do. But I guess we'll see how it works out, and obviously I hope it goes well. So
yeah, have they started production yet?
Yeah, well, not only have they started production, but they've actually finished production. I think it was supposed to have finished in like February, so hopefully it did, and you know. Yeah,
it makes sense justifying a second season if they've got confidence in what they've seen.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Like if they've seen the first season, but I suppose I think it's going to have a shorter season than a normal Walking Dead one would have, purely because they're still starting it out.
Yeah,
because The Walking Dead originally only had 6 episodes in its first season, and then it expanded to the current 16. So,
yeah. Heads up, the headline of this story is the least interesting part of it.
Yeah.
Josh Hutcherson and Zach Braff are after joining James Franco's in Dubious Battle. And here's the bit of the podcast, again, where the listener gets to feel smarter than me. Until I read the story, I didn't know that In Dubious Battle was a John Steinbeck book.
Oh, really, is it?
Yeah. So I'm a big ignorant prick. But this thing, the cast list on this is absolutely crazy. Right now we've got Annalee Tipton, Ashley Greene, and Anna O'Reilly. And also we have Selena Gomez, Vincent D'Onofrio, Robert Duvall, Ed Harris.
This is a good guest.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston, Nat Wolff, John Savage, and Sam Shepard.
You didn't say anything about Cranston being it before. Now I'm interested.
Yeah, this is an all-star list. Adapting a Steinbeck novel, which obviously Steinbeck novels have a pretty solid history of adaptations. Yeah. I mean, James Dean, one of his very last films was East of Eden, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And of course, of Mice and Men, you know.
Yeah, which is.
With Garrison Ace and all that.
Yeah, which is a. Oh, it wasn't John Malkovich.
Yeah. He was Lenny in it.
Yeah, it's a pretty tasty adaptation. Let's see. The story centres on a labour conflict between migrant apple pickers and the local growers' association in the California Valley. Jim Nolan, to be played by James Franco, becomes involved in the labour movement and rapidly matures as he learns what it means to do organisational fieldwork. So James Franco is going to be directing and acting in this. This could go very wrong, but I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, I could see this going very lopsided, depending on how James Franco pulls it off. But hopefully he will pull it off.
Yeah, I always become nervous when someone's acting and directing.
Yeah,
just because I feel like that,
especially when they're relatively inexperienced in terms of directing.
Yeah, plus I feel like that second pair of eyes on a performance is important.
Mm.
Just having someone on the outside to give notes and to say pull that back a bit or step that up a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Franco's got an independent enough eye or an unbiased enough eye that he'll be able to go back to Video Village and see what his own performance looked like.
Okay. Yeah.
But
hopefully,
yeah, hoping for the best because Steinbeck was a hell of a writer, and he's got a hell of a cast to play with on this one. Let's hope he doesn't screw it up.
And just to round things off, a quick review of Chappie, the latest Neil Blomkamp entry. And where it's just in the slight future where robots have effectively become a part of the police force in South Africa. Of course, South Africa. Why not? Basically, in Chappie, one of the robots is given an independent and mind. You know.
Yeah.
He's given sentience by his creator, who is portrayed by Dave Patel. And like he basically falls into the hands of unscrupulous people, and without giving much more away, it is like it does try and hit you over the head with the message of sentience, you know.
So far, this sounds entirely like the Los Cocos subplot of Circuit 2.
Kind of, actually, yeah. Now that I think about it. There is a good bit to love about it. It's got some very good action scenes, and it's got some very good humour and dialogue, right?
Okay.
But at the same time, and of course, Hugh Jackman completely pulls off the mullet. But at the same time, the story is belted over your head. But that's if once you get beyond that, and there's a few things that are kind of tied up a bit too well, to an extent. We're not giving too much away, of course. But overall, I actually quite enjoyed it because it had a decent enough plot to an extent, and the characters, while kind of fairly one-dimensional, and as in limited in terms of their variance, were still quite enjoyable. So for what it was pretty enjoyable. Granted, it's no District 9, but yeah.
So would you say it felt more like a sort of an action film than a thinking film?
No, I'd say it's somewhere in between. But yeah, I would say somewhere in between, and you did get a few laughs as well. So overall, in terms of an overall experience, I'd say it was a 7 out of 10. And that's the actual end for the show. This has been episode 10 of the Idiot's Odyssey. You can find me Owen on Twitter at OwenM1990.
And you can find me, Fergal, on Twitter at Interspammer.
And you can also find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Idiot's Odyssey. And you can also email us your thoughts, and you can as well as tweeting us your thoughts You can also email us your thoughts on the show and anything we brought up at idiotsodysseypodcast@gmail.com.
So just thanks for listening.